to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I have a roll call of supervisors, please?
It's different.
Yeah, we're dealing with a new software. Not new hardware, no. So if we have a few glitches, please be patient. Supervisor Bowski is excused. Moving on to citizens' comments. Any citizens wishing to speak, please state your name and address for the record. You'll have 5 minutes. Excuse me 1 minute, sir. There you go. Thank you.
3317 13th Place in Kenosha. I haven't been around for a while, but I thought I'd come in. I have some new evidence I want to share with the county board. I don't know if anybody's known this or not, but the Crystal Kaiser case has made national headlines. We've had Alyssa Milano, an actress out of Hollywood, calling for her release. Last I looked at it this morning, there was 102,000 people that signed a petition to have charges dropped. And I actually saw that the Crystal Kaiser case made international headlines. The Daily Mail in England picked it up. I don't know if you know this or not, but in 2018, the Daily Mail also picked up my son's story about his death and the travesty of the whole thing. And I kept thinking to myself, how interesting that Kenosha County can make international headlines twice in 2 years, and I don't hear that type of thing regarding Appleton or Madison or Green Bay, and I kept wondering what's really going on. And when I looked at the Kaiser case, I have to recognize that there's a problem, and it's a systemic problem. It's at the core. And I'm going to have to say that I believe that that core problem is DA Michael Gravely. I don't know if you know this or not, but when he started getting this international heat, he tried to respond, and he put some information on Forward Kenosha Facebook page, and he tried to defend himself. And he went on to say that as district attorney, I cannot condone vigilante justice, and when presented with evidence of premeditated murder, I do not believe it is appropriate for prosecutors to weigh the value of a victim's life. But he's weighed the value of my son's life, and he says he doesn't condone vigilante justice, yet he condoned 4 rogue police officers to put a gun to my son's temple and kill him in front of his mother and sister. Gravely also said that no prosecutor should base charging decisions on public opinion or political campaigns. Yet he defies his own statement many times because he distorted the facts in my son's case, and he blocked a proper investigation into the police shooting of my son. And he did so he can court the political support of the Kenosha Police Union. And this is a clear example of Michael Gravely abdicating civic duty for political gain. A very interesting thing happened just earlier this year, or last year. In October, the location where my son was killed, the mother finally sold the home, and I went over there one last time because I knew I wasn't going to have access to this property anymore. And so I went over there, and because I had a question in my mind, because I wanted to know how a bullet could be found in a certain location that it did. And so I took out my cell phone and I started scanning a garage up and down just like this. And when I got to a certain location, all of a sudden there it was. There was the bullet impact location regarding my son's death. And I contacted my own forensics evidence technician from the Chicago PD, and he came and processed it. And then the following day, I contacted our sheriff here, and Sheriff Beth, under a lot of pressure, finally caved in and had the Department of Criminal Investigations, a division of criminal investigations, come down and process the site. And so I gave everybody a packet tonight, and on it it's a letter that I gave to Sheriff Beth. And what I thought is really important is I wanted to show everybody there is a picture here of that bullet impact location. And I've sent out the bullet impact location and the slug itself to have it analyzed. And the shape It's not a perfectly round shape because it went through my son's skull, and it was distorted. But the shape, the diameter, and the depth of this hole matches perfectly with the bullet that was taken from the police department. And I went on to, so you can understand what Michael Bell's been fighting for 15 years, because I had a daughter and Michael's mother standing 10 feet away, and we watched the execution of my child. But what I did here is I gave an overhead example of how the eyewitnesses and the forensics matched up, and then down here how the police department said the shooting occurred. And if you'll notice that bullet indentation is completely lines up with the eyewitness version. And you have to ask yourself, why is this important? If my son was, how can my son grab a gun with an officer standing in between him and the person that's claiming he has my gun? And there's two other things I wanted to bring out. So there was version 1 from the police, and they got caught telling false testimony. They didn't look at the medical examiner's report. And so they came back and they tried to create a reenactment video. And so to match up with the forensics. So on here is a picture where they now try to make it, but even this picture is wrong because the bullet impact location is directly behind the officer who killed my son. And the last thing I wanted to share with you was the day after my son was killed, and there's a picture of it here. There's my daughter's bent over the car demonstrating how my son was held down. And if you can look, there's a red circle with a yellow dot right in the middle of it, and that's exactly where the bullet impact location was found. So it coincides with everything. And we feel that the impact location was finally found just because of the fact that the powder coating on that aluminum finally gave way and the car was moved. So in closing, I want to say that forensics do not lie. How can an officer say he has my gun when an officer is standing between him and a suspect that is being held down over a car hood? And this is a systemic problem. It's a failure. And it's a failure in the Crystal Kaiser case, and it's also a failure in the Michael Bell shooting. And I truly feel...
Mr. Bell, you need to wrap it up, please, sir. You've been out of time for a while.
Thank you. Okay, usually I get 30 seconds. I usually feel that, I strongly feel that D.A. Gravely needs to stand down. And I also feel that Officer Albert Gonzalez should be charged with second-degree intentional homicide for the killing of Michael Bell and the obstruction of justice and the cover-up afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other citizens' comments? Any other citizens' comments? Any other citizens wishing to speak? Seeing none, citizens' comments are closed. Announcements of the chair. I would like to welcome Victoria Desimoni from the Legislative Committee for being here tonight. I want to say Happy New Year to all supervisors. Hope you had a healthy and happy holiday with your families. And that's all I have. We'll move on to supervisor reports. Supervisor Alverman, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We held our January meeting last evening. We're getting reports from all the divisions. The golf course naturally has been open in December. Day after Christmas, we had 85 golfers. They were, unfortunately, had to walk, but we had that amount of people with the good weather. I don't know if you've seen the article that was in the paper about the indoor golf simulator. That's been quite a big hit at the golf course. Along with that, they're getting ready for tuning up the clubhouses for next year and the Milwaukee and the Chicago golf show. Facilities, the Kenosha County Center chiller replacement is ongoing. The $260,000 was estimated for this project, and the bid that we accepted was $253,000. That should be completed by April. Planning and development remodeling is complete, except for a couple little articles of furniture and some molding. Anderson Arts Center, basically complete. There's some landscaping that will have to be done in the spring. The Joint Services Evidence Area renovation. The bid documents were released on October 31st. Construction bids were received on the 21st of November. And the cooler and freezer bids, the last piece of the puzzle, are due on January 7th. Construction for that is scheduled for 2020. And facilities, we are at this point putting together timelines for the remainder of the 2020 projects. Highway Department, we have been reporting about the Highway W closure. We've taken some time to have it studied, short-term and long-term. We have come up with a definite need for a short-term solution. Came to our committee last night. We'll go to finance and then to the full county board. We did some sheeting a year ago on another section of Highway W, steel sheeting. We had the opportunity to talk to contractors and our engineers, and the people in that business are at a perfect time to do that type of work. But what we were thinking was going to be in the $500,000 range for this immediate need that we have for Highway W is actually the cost that we've gotten have been under $300,000 for that. We would be doing immediately 90 feet that would open the road back up by March, and that would give us, according to consultants, according to the Army Corps and the DNR, some time to come up with long-term for that section of W that is along the Fox River. And by time, I mean 2021, 2022, we would have up to 5 years by everyone's estimates to come up with a long-term fix. And if you look at the property that we have obtained through floodplain buyouts, we now basically have control of the isthmus or peninsula that's at the curve to that point in the river. But one of the things that even the Army Corps or the DNR have suggested that we may be looking at rerouting of the Fox River at that point. So short term, we're going to be coming to you for a $300,000 expenditure at the next meeting. The other highway projects ongoing, Highway S, both phases, KR, everything is on schedule. Highway F reconstruction for 2020 is on schedule. Parks, we have on the Kemper Center shoreline, the revetment project, the design work is substantially completed, and permits have been submitted to the DNR and Army Corps for review. That does not mean that we are looking at doing any construction. We certainly don't have the funds. We're looking at funds from all over that could possibly be used. But these permits are good for 5 years. So if they review our design, we receive permits, it would put us in a great position for grant money, for federal money, for state money, because we would be the only people or the only game in town with shovel-ready operation. The Highway Department also heard some rumors that there was a salt shortage this year. I wanted to let everybody know we're definitely fine with salt, especially with the mild December that we've had. The property for the tower that we obtained right across the street here, 4 properties. We closed on the final piece of property there, and we're beginning to pull together the rezoning with the city. So everything is going smoothly. The division is looking at the scheduling for the 2020 season, but at this point, everything is on schedule or very close. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Overman. Supervisor Byrd, you have the floor.
I attended the Kenosha County Veterans Council board meeting today. They announced that, it's been announced a while back, but March 14th, Saturday, March 14th, they're going to have their banquet. I do have tickets. I've put a flyer on everybody's desk if you're interested. They also have nomination forms for Veteran of the Year, Lifetime Achievement Award, Auxiliary Member of the Year, Veteran Service Organization of the Year, and Civilian and Business of the Year. If anybody needs forms, I have those, and I have tickets also. The keynote speaker is Secretary Mary Kolar, the Secretary of Wisconsin Department of Military Affairs.
Thank you, Supervisor Berg. Supervisor Noodle, you have the floor.
Thank you. Just very short. Yesterday we had the meeting over Brookside for the Board of Trustee, and between Brookside and Willowbrook, we're doing better than what was projected. Also, Willowbrook is running full capacity, and now we have a waiting list, so which we're doing very good on that.
Thank you. It's good news, definitely. Seeing no other supervisor reports, supervisor reports are closed. County Clerk.
County Executive Appointments, 23, Steve Bostrom to serve on the Kenosha County Land Information Council.
Refer to the PDEC Committee.
New Business Ordinance, 1 reading. Ordinance 10 from the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee, an ordinance regarding John B. Keel Comprehensive Plan Amendment, Town of Brighton. Decker excused, Skalitsky, yes. Poole, yes. Nordigan, yes. And Rodriguez, yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Skalitsky, you have the floor.
I'll move Ordinance 10.
All right, thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Skalitsky, second by Supervisor Rodriguez. Supervisor Skalitsky.
Well, I'll be honest with you, Mr. Chair, I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but the committee reviewed this ordinance for the comprehensive plan change, supported it unanimously, and I would ask for the board's support.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance passes.
Ordinance 11 from the Planning and Development and Extension Education Committee, an ordinance regarding John B. Keel rezone, Town of Brighton. Decker excused, Poole, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Rodriguez, yes. Nordigan, yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Skalitsky, you have the floor.
I'll move ordinance number 11.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Skalitsky and a second by Supervisor Nordigan. Supervisor Skalitsky.
The committee reviewed the rezoning for Mr. Keel, supported it unanimously, and I would ask for the board's support.
Thank you. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ordinance 11 passes.
Resolution 1 reading, 52, from the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee, a resolution regarding John B. Keel Comprehensive Plan Amendment, Town of Brighton. Decker excused, Poole, yes. Skalitsky, yes. Rodriguez, yes. Nordigan, yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Skalitsky, you have the floor.
Move ordinance number 12.
We're on a resolution, correct?
Resolution, I'm sorry.
52, okay. Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Skalitsky and a second by Supervisor Poole. Supervisor Skalitsky.
Again, the board or the committee reviewed this application, supported it unanimously, and I would ask for the board's support.
Thank you. Any discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes.
53, from the Human Services Committee, resolution for the appointment of Laura Belsky to the Racine Kenosha Community Action Board. Grady, yes. Berg, yes. Belsky, abstain. Celebrity, yes. Mauer, yes. Nudo, yes. Rodriguez, yes.
Thank you. Supervisor Grady, you have the floor.
Move resolution number 53.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Grady and a second by Supervisor Berg. Supervisor Grady.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Was approved with committee's consent. I urge your approval this evening.
Thank you. Seeing no discussion on this resolution, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Resolution passes.
54, from the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee, a resolution regarding the appointment of Greg Krushko as Kenosha County Representative to the Hooker Lake Management District Board. Decker excused, Skalitsky, yes. Poole, yes. Rodriguez, yes. Nordigan, yes.
Supervisor Skalitsky, you have the floor.
I move the appointment
Move Resolution 54.
Resolution, there you go.
I have a motion by Supervisor Klitzky, a second by Supervisor Nordigan. Supervisor Klitzky.
Again, the committee thoroughly reviewed the application, supported it unanimously, and I would ask for the board's support tonight.
Thank you. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor of this resolution say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Resolution passes.
55, from the Planning, Development, and Extension Education Committee, a resolution regarding the reappointment of Robert M. Stoll to the Kenosha County Zoning Board of Adjustments.
Thank you. Supervisor Klitzky.
I gotta
I'm sorry,
read
go
that.
ahead.
Decker excused, Skalitsky, yes. Poole, yes. Rodriguez, yes. Nordigan, yes.
Thank you.
Move-
Supervisor
Move
Klitzky.
Resolution 55.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Klitzky and a second by Supervisor Rodriguez. Supervisor Klitzky.
Our committee thoroughly reviewed this application, and we ask for the board's support tonight.
Thank you very much. Seeing no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes.
Communications, 31, communications from Chairman Esposito regarding appointing Reggie Bachochin to the office of the county clerk.
Refer to Finance Administration Committee.
Claims, 15, David Frankie, personal damages.
Refer to Corporation Council.
Summons and complaint, Natalie Ruffin, trailer, medical neglect.
Refer to Corporation Council.
The approval of the December 3rd, 2019 minutes by Supervisor Mauer.
Supervisor Mauer, you have the floor.
Move to approve the minutes from December 3rd.
Thank you. I have a motion by Supervisor Mauer and a second by Supervisor Rodriguez. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Can I have a motion to adjourn? I have a motion by Supervisor Kubicki and a second by Supervisor Frederick. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you.
Quick with the adjournment. It's quick with the adjournment.